It's been the best part of half a year since Microsoft made its jump from Copilot everything to agents everywhere. We have seen amazing innovation and a fantastic growth of features, but for many there are still pain points or confusion that lead to frustration. And every time I share agents-focused content, I see at least some of this rise to the surface. So in this video I want to embrace those frustrations. What are they? How can they be mitigated? And as an SMB user, how can you focus on the right things to get the best from Microsoft's agentic capabilities? But first, a quick introduction. My name is Nick DeCourcy. I work as an independent consultant, helping the owners and leaders of small and medium-sized businesses achieve more using AI. I'm also a Microsoft MVP for Microsoft 365 Copilot. If you need help and want to learn more about me and my advisory services, check out the links down below. The availability of AI agents, both as an extension to Microsoft 365 Copilot and in other places inside Microsoft's ecosystem, continues to grow every day. Foundationally, agents are AI-powered tools that help us with specific tasks, processes, or expertise. Microsoft has a bunch of first-party agents, both designed to be ones you use directly and also exemplars for you to develop your own. There are numerous toolsets Microsoft has provided for you to build your own agents, either as an individual or to deploy broadly within your business. And third parties are able to build agents too, either by expanding existing Microsoft 365 apps to get agentic capabilities or from scratch. In my view, agents are important for two core reasons. First, agents have had a profound impact on Microsoft 365 Copilot extensibility. The promise of Copilot as an extensible platform that can be easily customized with new capabilities and new data to bend the experience to what each individual or business needs has been core to its value proposition since shortly after it was announced in March 2023. However, when first released several months later, the extensibility options, while present, were a confusing mess where it was unclear what assets you should build or how to effectively or consistently use them. Agents, specifically declarative agents that extend Microsoft 365 Copilot, turned a technology that was theoretically promising but practically maddening into something that truly any user could understand and start working with. The ease of building agents using really simple builder experiences in SharePoint or Copilot Chat instantly moved Copilot extensibility from something that could confuse highly technical people to a technology I could get a non-technical business owner rolling with in a 90-minute coaching session. Now, Microsoft 365 Copilot is truly extendable for anyone and by anyone. Second, agents allow us to logically and clearly define the work of AI inside our organizations and processes, and to manage the relationship between humans and their computer assistants. By thinking of agents in terms of their building blocks, it's easier to define their role in our workflows. Our human workers have much the same attributes. They come with or have access to knowledge, we recruit them because of or train them in certain skills, and each job role will have a particular scope of autonomy or authority over a specific part of a process. By being able to define specific AI helpers along these sets of attributes, it makes cutting a relationship between human and AI needs in a particular work process far easier. And because Microsoft's implementation of agents gives us the potential to both think about logical chaining and autonomous work, we have lots of options about where an AI's work will begin or a human's may end. And eventually we could assume we will see multi-agent architecture that allows us to combine both chaining and autonomy to allow specialist agents to work together to complete more complex or long-term business processes. If you're finding this video useful, it would be great if you'd hit the like button and leave a comment to help me get in front of more interested people. Also, if you'd like to see more like this, please do subscribe to the channel. Microsoft's licensing is so complex, it's frequently the target of jokes. But confusion and dissatisfaction around agent licensing has been no laughing matter. If we ignore for a moment custom agents leveraging external platforms or licensed through third-party services, Microsoft has really established 4 different licensing paradigms that relate to agents. There's free agent access for Microsoft 365 users using Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat. There's metered features for free users of Copilot Chat. There's features included with a Microsoft 365 Copilot license. And then there's access to Copilot Studio features that aren't included with Microsoft 365 Copilot, so are metered for everyone. Let's consider a simple illustrative scenario where we have an agent querying a SharePoint site. If you build this in the Copilot Chat agent builder, then a request to this agent costs nothing with your Microsoft 365 Copilot license. But if you use the same agent with free chat and pay-as-you-go, you'll end up consuming 32 messages or up to 32 cents of billing every time your agent queries that SharePoint data. But if you jump into Copilot Studio and build pretty much exactly the same functionality in a custom agent, but do so turning generative orchestration on so you don't need to worry about topic management, you'll suddenly be in a scenario where both your Microsoft 365 Copilot licensed user and your free pay-as-you-go user will be billed for metered consumption, as generative orchestration is not included in either tier. Two agents with pretty much exactly the same baseline capabilities, but built in two different places with two different tools, and answering the same type of query has an entirely different billing model. I know many in the audience for these videos has looked at pay-as-you-go access to these features as a billing shock waiting to happen. And with such similar features being exposed to large groups of users, but having very different billing approaches, it's difficult to argue with this feedback, at least for some organisations. On the flip side, while custom agents from Copilot Studio can be exposed to a wider audience, for the vast majority of use cases, there is nothing to suggest to me that a custom agent with generative orchestration is significantly smarter or more capable than a declarative agent with good quality instructions, at least for features they can both leverage. This is what is so confusing, as the agents built on Microsoft 365 Copilot are very capable. However, we should remember that Microsoft has added controls so you can limit what type of agent building and use different users have access to. My view is that Microsoft could really drive massive adoption of these tools and much less hesitation through two pretty simple licensing changes. First, just grant Microsoft 365 Copilot license users unlimited use of all features exposed through Copilot Chat. The license should be about where the interaction takes place, not the detail of what technology has been used to build the agent. Second, allow businesses who have already bought Microsoft 365 Copilot to cap pay-as-you-go billing for non-licensed users at the price of a Copilot license. This would avoid billing shocks while providing a really clear rationale for an upgrade path to full licenses. Ultimately, I think with the different options around agents, Microsoft has built an astonishingly powerful toolset that can help nearly every business, but right now there's a level of complexity that can really prevent people wanting to jump in and try it at different scales of businesses. My assumption is that Microsoft's long-term goal is to maximize sales of Microsoft 365 Copilot licenses, and I think there is opportunity here to revise this approach to meet that aim. Another big area of frustration is that it is often not clear which features or capabilities are available where, which can lead to users chasing down solutions that don't exist, or just being frustrated that that tool they wanted from a demo isn't available yet. I recently published a video looking at the different opportunities for agent building in detail, but the fact that there are so many options that I can fill a 25-minute video talking about them is as much of a weakness as it is a strength. Microsoft's addiction to having 10 ways of doing the same thing when one would often suffice is a double-edged sword. For those who know the detail of these options, it opens doors that one solution wouldn't necessarily. But for users starting out or businesses starting to adopt, it can cause significant confusion. Of these different routes and features, it can sometimes be unclear which are locked in stone within the product and which are just part of a preview. And this can be important, as just last year, with the introduction of agents, Microsoft virtually threw out the approach to Copilot extensibility that many had been investing time on in preview for a new approach. In my view, this new approach was objectively better, but that doesn't eliminate the frustration of those who focused on the preview capabilities, assuming they represented in large part what would eventually come to the product. And then there are teasers in the UI that imply features that could be, should be, or might be there, but actually aren't. For example, according to the UI, you can add Power Automate flows as actions into Copilot Agents from Copilot Studio. But so far, I have not been able to make this work in any of my tenants. Have any of you had a different experience? Let me know down in the comments. And last, there's the issue of the demos that don't hit reality. A great example of this is with autonomous agents, where the headline demo at Ignite last year was an autonomous client onboarding system for McKinsey. The only problem with this was a key aspect of this demo used a human oversight feature that still months later is unavailable, with no clarity as to when it will actually be added to the product. Those who highlight this propensity for complexity in Microsoft's offerings are giving fair criticism, yet it's important to recognise that Microsoft is walking a tightrope where it needs to market its products in an increasingly competitive landscape. It needs to ensure IT pros have enough forward-looking information to be inspired by the products, and that end users have the resources they need to make the most of the tools. And to do all this in a world where all content gets amplified and promoted in unexpected and unintended ways. For those who are confused, Microsoft Learn is your friend, as the company still does a generally great job in providing free learning resources for users, and for overviews, analysis and tutorials outside of that, there are many people like me making content like this to guide and to teach. As the use of AI in our businesses grows, it's not only frustrations with the products we must look out for, we must be considerate of how we engage with AI tools to minimise risk and promote safe and responsible use. This is exactly why I put together my new on-demand course, Responsible AI for Business Users, to ensure those who are using AI in business or leading teams of people who are, have the right knowledge to use these tools responsibly, safely, and in a way that avoids the potential for harm to your business. Get started today using the link below. This easily accessible video-based course will give you an overview of everything you need to know to ensure you don't become the latest cautionary tale of what not to do with AI. Just recently, Microsoft has added a preview option to leverage GPT 4.5 in Copilot Studio Agents. This is one of the first times outside of their most customizable but also most complex toolsets they've offered the potential for builder selectable AI models. This is a great step, but is it enough? Another critique I have seen of Copilot and Copilot Agents is that in a world where the AI conversation never quietens, they are just not following the cutting edge enough to be truly useful to those most interested in maximising the impact from AI. And again, this criticism does contain at least a grain of truth. There is an increasing market of flexible agentic and AI automation tools that conceptually at least leave Copilot and its agents in the dust. Microsoft has no answer to products like Operator, and while deep thinking is now open to everyone for consumer Copilot, where are our agentic reasoning models? The reality is that equating what Microsoft sells to most other AI platforms is like comparing a supertanker to a speedboat used for recreation. The speedboat may be faster and more fun, but it's a completely different vehicle. One of the most important selling points of Copilot is that it's part of a broader ecosystem many organisations have already bought into. With agents in Copilot, you get very capable AI features, but you get them in the context of security controls and compliance tools that offer reassurance around securing your data and access to resources. That level of integration, security validation and compliance support takes time and means that Microsoft must be slower and more risk averse in some aspects of its business than newer and more agile companies that focus on just one type of product. However, say you decide to go down the path of integrating that cutting-edge agentic service into your business. If you're working responsibly, then that need for good integration, security validation and support of your compliance standards doesn't just disappear, it's just something you need to work out entirely on your own. And for each new tool or service you decide to leverage, you must balance the cost of that integration and validation work against the expected benefits. I feel quite comfortable telling business owners that in many cases they can find AI services that are ahead of Microsoft's, yet implementing tools like Microsoft 365 Copilot and Copilot Studio is the best fit for their company's whole set of needs. This isn't always the case, but for businesses that already have good adoption of Microsoft 365, I find Microsoft's AI services to almost always be the most suitable answer. As a user of these tools myself, I too sometimes get frustrated for the reasons I've outlined and for others. However, armed with the context that similar frustrations tend to exist across all complex products and large vendors, I feel some of these issues just are a natural consequence of the ambitions and scales of this sort of product development. The objective reality is that agents within Copilot are very capable. They are becoming more capable all the time, and we can today very easily do things that 5 years ago were unimaginable for smaller businesses. This doesn't mean that you can get where you need to be without the right expertise and support, and part of that is guiding you through the frustrations and setbacks that will come with absolutely any project. Can Microsoft do better? Always. But are Copilot agents worth your time and attention today despite these issues? Absolutely. What do you think? Did I highlight the key frustrations you experience? How do you navigate around them to achieve success? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks for watching through to the end. Until the next video, bye bye.